I think it is important to remember what these allegations are really about. And I think the far right likes to have rationalizing discussions of how Democrats are making up stories or whatever. But let's just be clear what's happening with Max Miller. His wife, who is Republican Senator Bernie Moreno's daughter, tried and true Republican, has said that Max Miller basically threatened her life with a gun, scalded her with water, and physically hurt their young child. So I think what's really happening here is that it's a further illustration of how the Republican Party believes in power over any type of morality. And they will lecture Democrats about crime and criminality and being tough on crime when they have, appears to be a criminal. Okay, these are violent actions of assault. Yeah. And they're covering it up, basically trying to hold out the clock because they're worried about that one seat.
There it is.
And just think about this. This is one House seat.
There it is.
They're willing to sacrifice all principle around this. And just as a reminder, maybe it happened a little late, but Democrats pushed out a Senate candidate over accusations that weren't violent. They were repulsive. Mm-hmm. They weren't like scalding this woman, et cetera. They were really repulsive. But here you had the same people lecturing Democrats about Graham Plattner looking the other way. And I think it's just a reminder that it's in this town, it's politics and victory at all costs.
Miller has denied the allegations. Senator Moreno has not made any public comment on the situation. His spokeswoman told The Times, quote, he will not litigate these matters in the media. And you laid out some of the things that he's accused of doing. Scalded her chest and stomach by throwing hot water from a skillet at her body, held a gun to her head, pushed her against a wall and hit her head, and fractured their daughter's collarbone and bruised her shoulder. These are the allegations in the New York Times. Again, he
and no ethics committee investigation, to our knowledge, has been opened at this point.
You worked for a Speaker of the House.
Yeah.
When you watch how Mike Johnson operates his conference, right? When you think about what McCarthy may have done, when you think about what Pelosi may have done, when you think about any of the folks who have held that position may have done, when hearing these allegations, I imagine it wouldn't have been what Mike Johnson said today.
This is disgusting. Math and numbers shouldn't dictate our morals. And why, to your point about Graham Plattner, but also what happened earlier this year with Eric Swalwell. Okay, so that was an allegation. What about Tony Gonzalez and even what we see happening now with Troy Jackson? All of these things. So all of a sudden, you don't, because you have one and you don't have the numbers on your side. And it's so repulsive to use your religion as sort of this backbone, fundamental cornerstone of who you are. But here's the thing. It is so easy to be a leader when everything is working for you. If Johnson had a majority of 30, I'm sure he'd be singing a different tune today. But we have one, and that's it. The true marker of a leader is what you do when things are not politically expedient.
Yeah, or in your favor.
Exactly.